What do I know for sure? And so this morning I woke up and reflected on that. And I love that we only have 5 minutes because, it's easy to give a 5-day retreat or a 1 hour talk, but a 5-minute talk, it's like, how do I compress? What's the heart of what has helped me as a human being to thrive in this world? A human being that was burned out and stressed and caught up in anxiety and fears and all this. Even though I was a clinical psychologist, I was the wounded warrior in a sense. So I met Sydney Banks 1980, 38 years ago. And I had been working as a clinical psychologist in private practice and lots of different settings for about 10 years and was nearing burnout when I met Sid. And I would have to say, if I had to boil down everything I learned from him and what I've learned from my own insights and from so many great teachers, not only in the Three Principles field, but all over the world, I've had many, many teachers in all forms, whether it's my kids, my grandchildren, my wife, my mom and dad. There's wisdom that comes from everyone because we are all part of that wisdom. We cannot be separate from the universal mind. And so this morning when I reflected on the question, when I have to do a seminar, I have to rise to an occasion at times for a situation like this, I'll write in my journal. I want to just read what I got in my journal in response to that question, and then just make another comment so I can keep it to 5 minutes, because I can go on forever. So what do I know for sure? What I know for sure is that I can trust myself 100%. What does that mean? Not my personal self that we associate with ego, habits, and beliefs, but our universal self that is connected and a part of universal mind, that we're not separate from that. That is the still small voice, the wisdom that courses through our bodies. It knows how to digest our food, feed our hearts, when to call that friend, the voice of the mind that guides us in the moment for the next step and the next step and the next step, the right decision, what to do today, the smallest details to the really big stuff. Most people I work with don't trust themselves at all, due to the fact that most of us have relied on our ego, our intellect, our habits, our belief systems that have been completely unreliable. Sometimes they're right, many times they're wrong. And so people don't trust themselves, so they look to others. They look outside themselves to circumstances, to people, to books, to webinars like this even, to guide them. But they're all hoping to be guided back, consciously or unconsciously, to that oneness with the universal mind. Universal mind sorts all of the information from our past, everything that we've learned in life, all that we know and all that we don't know personally, to give us the answers that we seek. Just recognizing when we are caught up in our own personal outside-in thinking reboots us like a computer to hear that voice that's always been within us since birth. We can trust that. So that's what came to me, and I share that with you because it's just such a gift to know that I don't have to worry or think about anything I do in life. I have this inner resource, call it resilience, call it the God mind, call it universal mind, you can call it whatever you want, higher power, but that we can absolutely rely on that. And when we can rely on that, we can be comfortable in our own skin, and we can trust that that's something that we can always rely on. And I know a lot of my work is with addictions, people with mental illness who have been told not to trust themselves, that you can't trust yourself, you're unworthy of that. And my goal in working with people is to help them to really begin little by little to see that that wisdom within, that voice within, is something they can absolutely trust, and that will guide them, and only that voice can guide them, because everyone's path is unique. It's tailored. That voice is tailor-made for each of us in the moment, for our life at that moment. There's no techniques to that. There's no guru that can tell us what to do. The guru is within. That's where our true wisdom lies. So that's what I would say I know for sure.